Yeah, the NFL does not like what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Kansas City Chiefs news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Kansas City Chiefs sign former Steelers wide receiver that could make a huge impact to the team. The Kansas City Chiefs are adding to their wide receiver core, signing former Pittsburgh Steelers wideout Anthony Miller to a reserve future contract, the team announced. Miller spent nearly 2 years with the Steelers before being released just after OTAs this past summer. He played 1 game for Pittsburgh, catching 1 pass for 2 yards. Originally, he was believed to be an option as their starting slot receiver this season, but after a lingering hamstring injury, the team decided to move on before training camp. Miller, 28, was originally a second-round pick for the Chicago Bears in the 2018 NFL Draft, where he spent his first 3 NFL seasons playing alongside current Steelers backup quarterback Mitch Trubisky and slot receiver Allen Robinson. He played 47 games, including 17 starts, and caught 134 passes for 1,564 yards and 11 touchdowns. Miller spent time with the Indianapolis Colts and San Francisco 49ers this season before signing with the Chiefs. Guard Joe Thuney was not on the field as the Kansas City Chiefs began practice Wednesday, and a source told ESPN's Adam Schefter he was unlikely to play in Sunday's AFC Championship game against the Baltimore Ravens. Thuney was a first-team All-Pro this season for the first time in his career. He led all NFL players in pass block win rate at 99.1%. He was also selected to the Pro Bowl for the second time in his career. Thuney injured his pectoral muscle late in the Chiefs' divisional round win over the Buffalo Bills last weekend. He was replaced by Nick Allegretti, who has started 13 games for the Chiefs in his 5-year NFL career, including 1 this season. All the guys look at him like he's a starter, so everybody's got confidence that he can come in and do a nice job, Coach Andy Reid said of Allegretti. The Chiefs also practiced without 4 other starters: running back Isaiah Pacheco, guard Trey Smith, defensive tackle Derek Nnadi, elbow, and safety Mike Edwards. Pacheco, who rushed for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Chiefs' 2 playoff games, said he would absolutely be ready to play against the Ravens. Meanwhile, linebacker Willie Gay, who suffered a neck injury in Sunday's victory over the Bills, was a limited participant in practice Wednesday. A source told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that X-rays of Gay's neck revealed no major damage. The Kansas City Chiefs have been dealing with a significant number of injuries at offensive tackle for the duration of the 2023 campaign, and the fact that they're still operating this late in the postseason is a testament to the work of general manager Brett Veach to carry so much quality depth. Fortunately, as players get healthy, the Chiefs might be looking as good as ever at the position. The Chiefs have officially designated Prince Tega Wanogho to return to practice, activating a 21-day window for him to return to the roster. From a neck injury that kept Donovan Smith out for most of the season's second half to a concussion in recent weeks for rookie tackle Wanya Morris, the Chiefs have been forced to interchange parts on the fly to block for Patrick Mahomes. Another injury that made things difficult was the placement of Prince Tega Wanogho on injured reserve with a quad injury back in late September. In case you forgot, Wanogho won the swing tackle role for the Chiefs out of training camp this year as the Chiefs imported new veteran starters in Smith and Jawan Taylor in free agency. Instead of being spelled by Morris, who was a 3rd-round choice in the 2023 NFL Draft, or even Lucas Niang, who was also a former Day 2 pick, the Chiefs went with Wanogho at the first sign of trouble at the bookend roles. It's quite possible, had he stayed healthy, that Wanogho could have been a major storyline for the Chiefs this year if given significant playing time. Instead, it was Morris who largely enjoyed the chance to show off what he could do until a recent head injury robbed him of postseason reps. Back to Wanogho, a former 6th-round selection of the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2020 NFL Draft, who was always a long-term project at the NFL level. He lasted 1 year in Philly before signing a practice squad deal with the Chiefs in 2021, and he's slowly been developing under positional coach Andy Heck since that time. At this point, Smith and Taylor are back in their starting roles, but Morris continues to deal with a head injury. It will be interesting to see what the Chiefs decide to do with Wanogho going forward. The second story is Kansas City Chiefs star could miss rest of NFL playoffs. For the first time in the Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes era, the Kansas City Chiefs had to go on the road for a playoff game. They were going into a hostile environment in Orchard Park to play against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. It was a hard-fought game, one that the Chiefs came away victorious from. They defeated the Bills 27-24, advancing to the AFC Championship game. There they will face off against the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens, which defeated the Houston Texans 34-10 in their divisional round matchup. Going into Baltimore to try and win is no small task. The Ravens have been arguably the best team in the NFL this season and are clicking in every facet of the game. Defeating them when at full strength is hard enough, but the Chiefs may not even have that luxury. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, Kansas City could be without their star guard Joe Thuney for the remainder of the postseason. Thuney suffered a pectoral injury against the Bills and is set to undergo an MRI to assess the damage. That would be a major blow to the Chiefs' offense if they had to go up against the Ravens without Thuney in the lineup. The Ravens have been able to generate a successful pass rush against the best offensive line units in the NFL. Going against a backup on the interior of the Kansas City unit would give them a huge advantage. The Chiefs have struggled to generate offensive production this season consistently. The biggest reason for their struggles has been the underwhelming performance of their wide receiver group. The offensive line hasn't been great, but they have held up when needed most. Without Thuney, more pressure will be on tackles Donovan Smith and Jawaan Taylor, who have both struggled at times this season with penalties. To defeat a team as talented as the Ravens, you need to be clicking on all cylinders. Facing their top-ranked defense without your best offensive line protect Mahomes could be a recipe for disaster. The Buffalo Bills lost again to the Kansas City Chiefs, this time thanks to a missed field goal by kicker Tyler Bass. Even had Bass's kick gone through the uprights instead of wide right, Patrick Mahomes still would have had just under 2 minutes of game time to drive his Chiefs down the field for a last-second victory. After the game, Bills Mafia pelted the Chiefs with snowballs and even aimed some squarely at Patrick Mahomes as he ran off the field. Some of the Chiefs players did not take kindly to how they were treated on the road. As for the Kansas City defense, they held their own against one of the best quarterbacks in football. Josh Allen had a rather low yards per attempt, and the Bills struggled to move the ball for large portions of the game through the air. The Chiefs' defense often bent, but did not break just enough to allow Mahomes to do what he does best. Buffalo's offensive struggles were evident in Stefon Diggs' stat line as he caught just 3 passes for 21 yards. Diggs dropped a deep ball from Allen in a big moment as well. After Diggs' struggle against the Chiefs' defense, linebacker Willie Gay Jr. had some fun at his expense on Instagram, posting a previous photo of the Bills star watching Kansas City celebrate their AFC Championship game victory in 2021. This Diggs photo has been used as motivation from many fellow NFL players and even college athletes who remain on the field post-loss to watch their rivals celebrate. Unfortunately for Diggs, his Bills have not yet defeated the Chiefs when it matters most. Buffalo, of all NFL franchises, knows the pain of losing in the postseason. The Bills have been 2 and lost 4 Super Bowls. And now this iteration of a Buffalo contender can't get over the hump that is the Kansas City Chiefs. The third story is Chiefs get great Chris Jones news ahead of AFC Championship game. The Kansas City Chiefs won their 8th consecutive division title, but they didn't do it in their typical fashion. Since 2016, Kansas City had reigned over the AFC West with an explosive aerial attack. During the 2023 NFL season, they were forced to lean on their defense. While Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense struggled to establish any chemistry or rhythm throughout the season, the defense held opponents to 15.8 points per game, second fewest in the league. Kansas City was able to win enough low-scoring affairs to secure the AFC's number 3 seed with an 11-6 record. Defensive tackle Chris Jones has been the centerpiece of the Chiefs' defense since he was selected in the 2016 NFL Draft, but his future in Kansas City looked doubtful beyond this season. Despite his off-season animosity with the Chiefs' front office, the first-team All-Pro offered some optimism following the Chiefs' divisional round victory over the Buffalo Bills. Jones told Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer how the Chiefs intentionally held off on playing him as an edge rusher until a pivotal play in the divisional round win against Buffalo, and he praised Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. "Spags is a wizard," Jones told Breer. "I hope he doesn't get a head coaching job, hoping he stay with me forever." Breer asked him if he was planning on staying in Kansas City to continue playing under Spagnuolo. "If the Chiefs keep me, I'll stay," Jones said. "That's always been the plan." That plan didn't seem like it was going to work during the 2023 offseason when the 29-year-old veteran was embroiled in negotiations with the franchise. At the time, Jones was reportedly looking for a contract extension that was closer in range to Aaron Donald's $31.6 million annual average, but he couldn't agree to terms with the Chiefs. As the negotiations between the two parties deteriorated, Jones elected to hold out for the entire offseason. Neither side budged, and Jones' holdout extended into the regular season. The absence of the defensive anchor was notable in Kansas City's Week 1 loss against the Detroit Lions. In the fourth quarter, Detroit's offensive line bullied the Chiefs' defense in the trenches to close out the game.